approximately a year ago, because I am a terrible person, the wonderful Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe tagged me in the tea book tag. So I am finally doing it. There is no tea in this cup. It is just decorative. It usually holds this origami flower, my friend, maybe. So you can go back in there. Instead I have coffee, because I am a coffee bitch. And I will be going through each of these prompts and saying which books I think match. Let's dive into these prompts. Prompt 1 is Mint Refresh, a book that does something refreshing. So for this one, I've gone with Not Alone by Sarah K. Jackson. This is a cli-fi book, climate fiction, and it really focuses on how a woman would be impacted by the eventual degradation of society if we continue to let global warming and climate change do everything. Yes, that. And it really focuses on the woman's point of view. It is both holistic and scientific, and it just covers every single possible base. And I love that. A lot of climate fiction is very male focused or written by men who then don't think to include things like motherhood, like sexual assault and things like that, and like overall safety, feeling safe around people that you don't know in this kind of on your own society. So this I think is done beautifully well. It is one of my favourite books of last year. It is stunning and more people need to read it. Like, so good. Revitalise, a book you need to pay attention to understand it. For this one, I've gone with a book that I buddy read with the wonderful Eleanor, and that is Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. So this is a big book. The title is horizontal on the spine, okay? It's a big book. It also doesn't actually have chapters. It has sections, and those sections can be, I mean, technically I think they are chapters because they're numbered, but they are like 100 pages each. They are big, There's no proper chapters in this. So that is one part of the needing to pay attention to it. But also we are in multiple different time periods and we are learning a lot more about the magic system in here that intertwines. This is one where both me and Eleanor much preferred the first half of the book to the second, unfortunately, but overall it is still a really great read and one that I would recommend. This one also was one that came from Waypoint Books for me. Thank you so much, Waypoint, because this, as always, was a good recommendation. Prompt 3 is Blackcurrant Beauty, a book that is rich in its writing, and I am going to go with The Final Strife by Sarah Elarifi. I still haven't read The Battle Drum because I'm very nervous to read it because I adored this one so much. This was another like absolute favourite of last year and I adored it so much. And was it last year? No, it was 2022. Oh, that's so long ago. And I'm terrified of picking up The Battle Drum and it not being as amazing as this. It's one of those ones where I'm putting it off because like, but this, the writing inside of this is absolutely beautifully done. It is so well crafted, so well interwoven. This is just me repping books that I like at this point. I apologise for nothing. Next up is Winter Warmer, a book that is perfect for winter. Now, I did struggle a little bit with this one, but then I went back to a childhood favourite of mine, and that is Northchild by Edith Patu. So I haven't read this or reread this in a very long time. I read it multiple times as a kid. This is a fairy tale retelling where basically this young woman is taken from a village and has to go live with this bear in a castle, and it's kind of like Beauty and the Beast scenario, but wintry. I loved this so much. It's, as a kid, I adored this book. Then, Lemon, Ginger and Manuka Honey, an old favourite that brings you comfort. You were all expecting this, okay? The Gift by Alison Croggan, known as The Naming in the United States. This is my absolute favourite book of all time. I adore the Pellinor series with my entire heart, and reading this feels like coming home. I have reread it so many times with its pages coming out of the book. It's probably best I don't pull them out because then I have to put them back in and it's a whole thing. Yeah, they're a bit broken, bless yous. But yeah, so old favourite, brings you comfort. This fits the bill. It's just, it feels like home for me. I love it so much. We follow a young slave girl. Promo of the book! We follow a young slave girl named Myrad. She is rescued out of her enslavement in Gilman's Cot by a bard who then takes her and she explores the world beyond this. She finds out that the world is beautiful but that there is also darkness within it, and she is essentially like the chosen one trope and she has to help fight it. I think it's done really, really well with how much our previously enslaved and entrapped main character learns as the series goes on. That's done beautifully, I would say perfectly, and I just, music-based magic, bards, perfection. Then the next prompt is Ginseng Matcha, a book full of things you don't usually like, but you loved it anyway. And I went with Silver Under Nightfall by Rinjapeko because this book is a polyamorous vampire love story. Now, I am learning that I think I actually quite like polyamory in my books. I think it's something like fresh and different, and when it's well done, it makes that kind of love triangle work so much better because it's actually a triangle rather than the love V that we usually get. But I'm not keen on romance books usually, like at all. Don't like romance in my books. And also vampires. The last vampires I read were Twilight, and whilst I loved Twilight, I was a teenager. I've not delved back in since. So, didn't think I liked vampires, don't like romance. Now learnt from this and from one other book that I seem to enjoy polyamory as a plot device. There you go. 3 Cinnamon is a heartwarming book, and I am going to go with the manga of A Man and His Cat by Umi Sakurai. I adore this so much. It is, but he doesn't look that old, but he's mentioned to be an old man, he's a teacher, and he goes and adopts this unwanted cat from the pet shop when he's been like really reduced down in price because nobody wants this ugly cat, and they just fall in love with each other, I should say, after the Silver Under Nightfall, platonic love. They just absolutely fall in love with each other and they become each other's family, and it's the cutest damn thing, and I could just... I just sit here and go, when I'm reading it. It's perfection. Perfection. Then for the prompt original chai, and that is a retelling recommendation, and for this one I'm going with Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao. This is a retelling of the Chinese Empress Wu Zetian and her life story, but done in a way that involves like mecha robots and polyamory. I'm really discovering stuff about myself in this video. Fantasy, strong badass woman. It is done so well. It's really, really fun. I will say I did have a couple of little niggles with this book, but it is Ziran J. Zhao's first ever published book. Like, those niggles could be sorted so easily. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, I really loved this, and I actually kind of loved how unapologetically man-hating the main character was. Just as a refreshing character to read from. Not that I justify that in this day and age, but where she was, yes, 100%. And it was just refreshing to read, like a different point of view, you know, it's a bit of fun. I also recently read a book where I enjoyed the point of view of an insane murderer. My standards are low. Chamomile, Vanilla and Manuka Honey, a book that is soothing, so soothing you can sleep easily after reading it. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. Yes, everyone and their mother has gone on about this cozy fantasy, and I am too. I read this well after the hype train been gone, left the station and came back round for another lap, and I still loved it. This is just so cute, so wholesome. You do get some tenseness in here, you also get some relationship development, but it's just so nice to see this little coffee shop grow, and it's so cute, and the community and the found family. I really like it. I know, but it's really cute. And then the final prompt is 3 Fennel, a book that is good for you even if you don't wholeheartedly love it. Now don't get me wrong, I do like this book, but it is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. My main issue with this book is that, to simplify, it's written by a white woman. Henrietta Lacks, her cells are named HeLa cells, and they have been used to develop pretty much every single vaccine jab that you have ever had in your life. It has been used for developing cancer treatment. It has been used for absolutely everything. Random experiments as well, not even related to medicine. And there was no consent gained from Mrs. Lacks whatsoever. Her family has not been financially recompensated for the millions or billions that has been made from Henrietta's cells. And once again, it is another example of the United States medical system being awful to black women and black people in general. It's a really, really important book to read. I really, really recommend picking it up. But yes, this is a white woman writing about this, a white woman going and interviewing the family who, understandably, don't trust white people, and especially not journalists and or medical professionals. So that is my issue with this book. It's not Rebecca Skloot's fault, but it is still, I feel like it would have been better if someone who was black had went and done this research. The family would have felt less pressured, would have felt more at ease, and given everything that's happened, I think that's fair. I do believe that they have gotten a settlement recently. Her survivors, her children, her bloodline, have gotten some sort of money from the billions that have been made from the HeLa cells, but those cells are still used to this day. Every day there are new cells from her being used. The reason why is because she developed cancer, and those cancer cells are quite unique in that they just continuously keep redeveloping. Cancer tends to wipe itself out eventually, cancer cells. They are invaluable, but they should have asked her permission, and they didn't. It's good for you because you will learn all about this woman who, without her, we wouldn't have half of the medical advancements that we have today, let alone a million other things. But she was a black woman who was badly treated by white medicine, and it is a white woman writing about it. So that is my issue with that book. Not actually like an issue, but it's still an issue. You know what I mean. And that is Olivia's tea tag all done. I have a great stack of books here. I feel like this really shows my variety. I've got climate fiction, I've got horror, I've got fantasy, winter fantasy, bardic fantasy, polyamorous, vampires, cat manga, cute, cozy, and non-fiction. That's pretty much my entire reading repertoire. I am of course going to tag some wonderful people to do this too, although if you'd like to do it, please do, and please tag Olivia in your description box so that she can see all of the videos. But I am going to be tagging Hannah from Not I Am, I have to specify, Lizzie, and also Carrie. Just a fun little easy video for you guys if you'd like to have something to film. Thank you so much for watching, folks. If you'd like to see what I think of all of the other books I've been reading, then please do hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!